Hello, hello. I'll be doing a trade recap of how I caught 400 points on NQ shorts. So coming in today's market, I was very bearish. This whole week I was very bearish. I wanted to see the short in the beginning of the week, but we didn't receive it. So unfortunately, we just got it today, and I was able to top tick shorts. So basically, yesterday's market open, we literally rejected off of the same highs we created based on the hourly chart, right? We gapped down during Asia. If we go to the 1 minute, we gapped down during Asia, leaving this bearish area that never got filled. Since Asia kind of consolidated in between a good 50-point zone, and I would have figured London would have pushed up bullish to fill this fair value of a gap. London actually took a bearish momentum into the market, which was pretty weird. So I knew the opening was going to be pretty bearish, I figured. So basically off of opening, pre-market opening, I saw we started to push very bullish, but all of a sudden we came into the previous highs and we just rejected instantly. This was a good kind of indication for me that we might see some bearish momentum because I wanted to see NQ kind of like sweep these highs that we just made and reject off of 636 for in continuation down, right? But we actually just got our entry at 617 and we top ticked it for over 400 points. So basically at 617 we use Quantower and we see it perfectly aligns with a low volume node shelf. And this was our exact entry trigger point. We used this because at this 25, 16, 17 mark, we saw multiple attempts to trade above, right? We had this attempt to break above, failed. Then we had a clear bullish momentum. We failed to break above there. That leaves us with a failed auction. With a failed auction, we see no price accepted into the zone, and volume is just filled. That means aggressive buying cannot move the price higher than this level. And with this, that means the sellers were in control. So during NY Open, I predicted that buyers would be exhausted and sellers reassert the control into the market based off of my daily bias and weekly bias. So based off of that, we come in, we'll do a replay. Market opens, we see bullish come in. Here, I'm looking for shorts. I'm seeing these huge wicks. These huge wicks for me are showing mass amounts of bearish like value coming into the market. So personally, what I did was I put two at this previous high, two minis to get filled at 617 at this previous high, and when I entered, I kind of let the play trade a little bit to go into a couple maybe points of drawdown. So here I entered my trade, and instantly I saw rejection. Put my highs at the previous. I put my stops at the previous highs because I knew that if buyers were to absorb the 617 level, that means I would get stopped and I wouldn't want anything. We would be very bullish if we closed above the 617 value. And I put my targets at about this 1 hour imbalance, not imbalance, but this 1 hour like kind of volume I wanted to be filled, because if we go back to Quantower, I can see I want volume to be rebuilt into the 400s. So I was expecting volume to be rebuilt into the zone. And in fact, that might have been a grave mistake for me because we completely dumped past that. But here we'll just do a little recap here. I just saw instant bullish pressure coming in, so I'm trailing my levels because these levels are gonna act as resistance, and I don't want my price to come back up past these levels. So here I'm still holding my stop loss at these levels. We get some buying pressure. Instant bearish reaction, trailing my stops, and we hit full TP. Bring our profits to 7,000 for the day across 5 accounts. So that was a very perfect day in my opinion. Since my TP was pretty greedy as I thought it was gonna be greedy, we actually kept running past it. As you can see, I expected a little bit of bias to come back in. See, we got a little bit of bias to come back in, and I expected this to maybe reverse on me, so I closed my full position there. But it turns out that we just kind of decided we just want to run past it, and the bears had the momentum in the market, sweeping all this previous liquidity. We just kept running, and from there was multiple entries all based off of shorts. Whenever market picks a side heavily like this, you just want to look for continuations. You do not want to catch reversals. If you do catch reversals, you just want to be in and out of the market. But basically on this, we just saw a low volume node interaction that I had previously posted into the Discord. If you go to Cabo Trades, we see a previous post 617.75, and as you can see, I wanted this reaction the entire week. Since the beginning of this week, I wanted this reaction to come in to play. But basically that's how we caught I caught a 200-ish point trade. But in reality, you could have held this to almost 400 points. So that's as simple as it can get. We had a low volume node level that I had sent out. We had we had an acceptance of sellers coming into play, and we kind of just had an outlook, a weekly kind of outlook that we wanted volume to get fulfilled within this 400 area.